Much has been said about the amount of climbing in the Women's World Championship road race, or perhaps the lack thereof. Nevertheless, the course is set and it should be a thrilling and aggressive race. The 156.2 km course features 2,413 metres of climbing and 3 ascents of the Olympic course. The Dutch team are the defending champions and they're favourite to take home the title this year. But there are plenty of riders prepared to challenge them. Here are Cycling News' 10 riders to watch for the Women's World Championship road race. Annemiek van Vleuten has enjoyed another outstanding season in 2018 and has proved herself the top climber in the women's pack at the moment. The 35-year-old was dominant at the Giro Rosa in July, winning 3 stages including the Montezon-Calan and going on to take the overall title. She carried that form across to France and took a dramatic last dash win at Le Course. More recently, she claimed the GC in 3 stages at the Bols Ladies Tour. The biggest threat to Van Vleuten's shot at victory comes from within her own team. For the first time, the Australian team will be formed around Amanda Spratt. After some big results in 2017, Spratt has stepped things up this season with her second consecutive win at the Santos Women's Tour, followed by podiums at the Ardennes Classics and victory at Makumeen Bira. She also took a stage win and 3rd overall at the Giro Rosa and enjoyed a stint in pink. Throughout the season, she's been a strong support rider for Van Vleuten too, but trade team alliances will be put aside this Saturday. Ashleigh Passio will be South Africa's lone female representative at the World Championships and only one of 2 riders competing at elite level. South Africa have never won an elite medal at the World Championships and Passio is probably the best chance they've had for some time. With nobody to work for her during the race, it makes everything a bit harder, but she's consistently been up front this season. She took 2nd at Flèche Wallonne and was runner-up to Van Vleuten at the Giro Rosa, as well as taking 3rd at Le Course. Anna van der Breggen is a 2nd Dutch rider on this list and another top favourite for the title. She's ridden a very select calendar this season while she mixes in some mountain biking and even missed a defence of her Giro Rosa title. However, when she's competed, she's been hard to beat and her one-day record is redoubtable. This season alone, she's won Strade Bianche, the Tour of Flanders, Flèche Wallonne and Liège-Bastogne-Liège and was only beaten to the line by Van Vleuten at Le Course. Cecilia Tripp Ludwig is Denmark's lead contender for the road race in Innsbruck. Since stepping up to the Cervelo Bigla team last year, the 23-year-old has quickly progressed. Tripp Ludwig struggled early on, but she got things back on track after having a tooth taken out in the spring. She went on to take the Danish national time trial title in June and finished a hugely impressive 6th overall at the Giro Rosa. She will also be remembered by many for her long-range attack at Le Course that had the favourites worried. Elisa Longo Borghini will be looking to close out an up-and-down season with a strong performance in the World's Road Race. Longo Borghini had her spring hampered by illness for the 2nd consecutive year and has since struggled to find her groove. There have been some good results including victory at the Mediterranean Games and the Mountains classification at the Women's Tour. On her day, she can certainly be in with a shout of taking the title, though her sprint is not the best and she'd want to arrive solo at the line. Chantal Black is not one of this year's favourites within the Dutch team, but she is a defending champion and deserves a mention. Black took her title in Breggen 12 months ago with a canny ride that utilised the depth and strength of the Dutch. In her year in Rainbow, the 28-year-old took victory at the Amstel Gold Race and claimed the Dutch road race title. The hilly course is not ideal for Black, but she's a strong rider and will be a key player for the women in orange. Ksenia Dama is another rider hoping to add a bit of shine to a mixed season with a good result in Innsbruck. The Polish rider started the year with 2nd at Strade Bianche and 1st at Trofeo Alfredo Binda. The subsequent months did not go to plan. However, there were some positive signs of late with a stage and overall success at the Tour de l'Ardèche. The competition wasn't as strong though, and it remains to be seen how she compares to the big names on this tough course.
The US team comes to the World Championships with a full squad and a number of options. Katie Hall is one such card to play after a superb 2018. The 31-year-old is set to race in Europe next year, but spent most of her season competing in the US. She notched up GC wins at the Joe Martin stage race and the Tour of the Gila and the Tour of California. Recently, she finished 7th at Le Course and 5th at the Tour de l'Ardèche. USA also has Megan Garnier, who is set to retire after the race.
Ida Moreno is an outside bet for the women's road race and a rider that can certainly test the major favourites. A developing talent and a member of the newly formed Movistar team, she won the Spanish national road race title in June. She carried that form into the Giro, where she finished an impressive 4th on the Monte Zoncolan, and took 8th overall, and she recently finished 3rd at the Tour de l'Ardèche. Anne Santesteban, who finished 2nd to Longo Borghini at the Mediterranean Games, is another strong climber for Spain.